In today's video, I want to talk about the current market situation, what are my thoughts about it, and what I'm currently doing, because I can already see price targets on social media where people say that Bitcoin can now potentially go down back to 20K levels and so on. And I think that's just ridiculous. And I will show you data from the past, which definitely shows that this is just a smaller or mid-sized correction in an uptrending bull market. Let's take a look first on Bitcoin and what's happening here. We had a peak of 74,000 US dollars in the mid of March and now dropped to a current price of 55,400. This has of course to do with a lot of sell pressure which is coming from the Mt. Gox Bitcoin distribution, from the German government selling, which has Bitcoin from the Movie 2K platform. Funny thing is, I was a user of that platform over 10 years ago, and now the situation gets back to me after a lot of time in crypto. Then we have, of course, a lot of miners that are currently selling, and we had massive liquidations yesterday and also the days before, which led to this downfall of the Bitcoin and, of course, also the altcoin prices. And as you know from your personal life, probably when things go wrong, everything goes wrong. You have a car crash, maybe you have a breakup, or maybe you're losing your job. Everything comes together, and I think that's the current situation. But if you take a look at the fundamentals, what comes in the future, we have the election in the beginning of November, where they always watch out for green financial markets. Then we have, of course, the Bitcoin ETF flows, which should continue in the future. We have the upcoming ETH ETF flows. We have the release of the funds from the FTX crash, which are over 10 billion US dollars. And in general, crypto adoption was never better than as of right now, where big companies, the biggest asset manager in the world, BlackRock, is talking about tokenization and all this kind of stuff. So what I'm doing here is zooming out, see what's coming, and take this as a fundamental thesis. And why I think this is just a correction in a bigger uptrend, which will continue over the upcoming few months. If we take a look into the 2017 bull run, you can see we had a lot of correction in this bull run. These went from 29% up to 38%. We also can see this in the 2021 bull run, where we had corrections ranging from 17% up to over 30%. This is completely normal in bull markets to shake out people, get the weekends out of the market, pull liquidity from them, and then start a new uptrend. I'm not saying this will start immediately. A lot of people are talking about these 52,000 US dollar levels and also 47 to 48,000 US dollar levels. And I think it's completely realistic that we hit those targets. But usually when all the people think we will hit those targets, we will not hit those and turn around even earlier. And if we take a look at the percentage change here, we can see that the current correction is at around 27%. If we would go down even further to those 51,000 US dollar levels, we would have a around 30% correction. And if we hit those 48,000 US dollar levels, this would be a around 33-34% correction. This would be nothing new and is completely realistic. So you shouldn't think this way. If I would have cashed out at the top, in hindsight, it always seems so obvious that we will have another correction or that we will go down from this point. But you should definitely not think this, because in a few months you would think, oh man, this would have been very lucrative prices. Why didn't I buy more? A very funny chart which I saw on Twitter as well is this McDonald's sign, that we are now back to McDonald's levels. I mean, we saw 55,000 last time in February. That was just 4 to 5 months ago. Now we see a bigger washout, and we're all sitting in the same boat. So everyone who is in crypto right now, their portfolio is down, especially if you're holding a lot of altcoins, as we saw in the beginning. Funny thing here in this case is the big VC coins like Starknet or ENA bleed the most, while Pepe or Bonk, bigger meme coins on the chains, are not bleeding that much. So what I'm currently doing in this market is what I already talked about in previous videos. I'm using a lot of lending and borrowing protocols to supply my blue chip assets, which are Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana. And with those blue chip assets, I borrow out stable coins to buy this correction level by level. The deeper we go, the more I purchase. And how I do this is very simple. I go especially on smaller chains for this. like for example Scroll, because in this way I can also farm for their future airdrop. And here in this case, I supplied around 1 Ethereum. I'm borrowing out the USDC stablecoin, 1,400 US dollar in this case, with just an APY of around 4%. If I would do this on Ethereum, I had to pay a way higher APY, which is almost double the amount which I pay on those smaller chains. As you can see here I would pay 8.26%. Or if we take a look on Arbitrum, you can also see that stablecoin borrowing is even more expensive. This gives me new liquidity without selling my blue chip assets. And once market turns green again, I can sell a little bit of the asset, pay back my debt on these lending and borrowing platforms, and I'm in an even better position than before the dip started. Last thing which I wanted to mention, because I made a big mistake, I farmed for the orderly network airdrop, and as you can see, I placed a stink bid before I went to bed here for BNB because I traded this range all the time, and as we all know, ranges are good to trade until the price goes out of this range. And I placed a long here at 563 US dollars, and then we all know what happened. Market crashed, a lot of liquidations came in. That's why I'm a lot down on this position. I learned from this mistake at least a little bit because I didn't get liquidated yet. My liquidation price is sitting at 368 US dollars, and I will of course add to this position as we dip further. I just wanted to show this example to you that you don't want to use too high leverage and don't trade in those volatile times without a stop loss. Now, I probably have to hold this position until we get back to those prices. A little bit unfortunate, but yeah, that's the current situation. Just wanted to show it to you that you can learn out of my mistakes. That should do it on today's video. Just wanted to show you my perspective on the current market. I think it's just a correction on our way up. This could of course get worse, but there's potentially also a relief rally upcoming in the next few days, up to at least 56 to 58,000 US dollars. Back above the 21 EMA, which is the blue line which you can see over here. If you don't want to miss future videos, mainly on airdrop farming and passive income opportunities, this is exactly the right channel for you. I release them almost on a daily basis here. If you like today's one, hit the like button. That's it. Thanks for watching and see you in my next one.